The night was eerily calm after the confrontation in the forest. Ainz stood in contemplation, pondering the mysteries surrounding the rifts, when suddenly the air crackled with an ominous energy. A new rift began to tear open before him, its edges glowing with an intense golden light. Another rift? Ainz muttered, his tone calm but alert. This can't be a coincidence. Mare, standing behind him, clutched his staff tightly. You, Uncle, something's coming through. The golden rift expanded, its light blinding, and with a sudden whoosh, a figure emerged. A bald man in a plain yellow jumpsuit, a red cape fluttering lightly behind him, stepped out, looking around with a bored expression. Huh, the man said, scratching his head. This doesn't look like the grocery store. I was just trying to grab some sales. Ainz's glowing eyes narrowed as he studied the newcomer. The man didn't seem particularly threatening, yet there was an overwhelming presence about him, an unexplainable aura that made Ainz's instincts scream caution. You there, Ainz called out, his voice commanding. Who are you, and how did you open this rift? Saitama turned to face him, his expression blank. I didn't open anything. I just kind of walked through. Got lost on my way to the store. Anyway, what's with the spooky skeleton cosplay? Ainz's internal monologue kicked in, his tone skeptical. Is this some kind of elaborate distraction? His demeanor suggests he's not a threat, but something feels off. I need to proceed carefully. This is no mere cosplay, Ainz replied, his tone formal. I am Ainz Owol Gown, ruler of Nazarick and master of magic. If you are responsible for these rifts, I demand an explanation. Saitama blinked, his face devoid of concern. No, I'm not responsible for any rifts. But if you're the one who messed up my shopping trip, we might have a problem. The tension in the air thickened as Ainz raised a hand, magic energy crackling around him. You speak with too much casual disrespect for someone who just appeared in my domain. I'll give you one chance to explain yourself before I take action. Saitama sighed, his tone flat. Man, everyone always wants to fight first. All right, let's get this over with. I've got sales to catch. Before Ainz could finish his incantation, Saitama casually stepped forward. The sheer force of his movement sent a gust of wind rippling through the clearing, scattering debris and forcing Mar to shield his face. Ainz's internal voice was suddenly skeptical and panicked. What kind of power is this? That wasn't teleportation. He just moved, faster than I could perceive. Saitama stood inches away from Ainz, staring down at him with a look of mild disinterest. You sure you want to do this? I mean, you look cool and all, but I'm warning you, I'm pretty strong. Ainz stepped back instinctively, his composure barely holding. You underestimate me at your peril. He unleashed a high-tier spell, Reality Slash, the magical blade tearing through the air toward Saitama. Saitama didn't even flinch. The blade connected and shattered against his chest like glass. Huh, Saitama said, brushing off his jumpsuit. Was that supposed to do something? Kinda tickled. Ainz's internal voice went into overdrive. Impossible. That was one of my most powerful offensive spells. What is this man made of? All right, my turn, Saitama said, casually raising his fist. He swung lightly, a normal punch, and the sheer force of the air pressure sent Ainz flying back, slamming into a tree. The tree splintered under the impact, and Ainz barely managed to steady himself with a teleportation spell before crashing into the ground. Mare screamed, "Ooh, Uncle! Are you okay?" Ainz's voice, both external and internal, was shaken. This power, it defies all logic. Saitama tilted his head. Hey, you're still standing. That's cool. Usually, people don't make it past one punch. Maybe you're tougher than you look. Ainz stood, his robes tattered, his mind racing. I can't win this with magic alone. I need to outthink him. But how do you strategize against this? Mare, retreat to the village. Ainz commanded, his tone firm. This fight is beyond anything we've encountered. Mare hesitated but nodded, his voice trembling. Yes, Uncle. He fled into the forest, leaving Ainz and Saitama alone in the clearing. Ainz activated his most powerful spell. The goal of all life is death, the air around him darkening as the ultimate magic took form. You've left me no choice, he declared. If you are truly invincible, then let's test your resistance to death itself. Saitama watched curiously as the spell activated, the wave of death magic surging toward him. It washed over him, the forest around them wilting and crumbling under the spell's overwhelming power. When the light faded, Saitama stood unharmed, scratching his cheek. Huh? That was kinda cool. but I don't feel any different. Ainz stared, his skeletal jaw clenching as his internal monologue screamed. What is this creature? Even my ultimate magic has no effect? Saitama sighed, cracking his knuckles. All right, you're a tough one. He tilted his head, glancing at Ainz. The goal of all life might be death, but my goal is groceries. His tone shifted, his expression sharpening for the first time. And I'm serious about that. Ainz's entire existence screamed in alarm as Saitama pulled back his fist. The air around it distorted, the sheer force of his power warping reality itself. When he launched the punch, the world seemed to stop for a moment before a shockwave tore through the clearing, obliterating everything in its path. When the dust settled, Ainz was on the ground, his magical barriers shattered. He slowly sat up, his robes in tatters, staring at Saitama in disbelief. You, what are you? Ainz asked, his voice shaking. Saitama shrugged. Just a hero for fun. Honestly, I didn't even hit you that hard. Anyway, I'm out. Gotta find that grocery store. Later, skeleton dude. With that, Saitama turned and walked away, leaving Ainz to stare after him, utterly defeated and questioning everything he thought he knew.